Has Russell even played?
Knicks family, what's poppin' with you? It's your boy, man. It is your boy. And I'm a little bit disappointed right now, as you probably can tell, because we lost to the Miami Heat. For the third time this season, I am sick of this team. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of this team, man. A defensive battle throughout, ladies and gentlemen. We started off the game not being able to hit shots. Finally, we hit a couple of shots. Julius Randle scored. Elfrid Payton scored. I think maybe R.J. Barrett scored a bucket. Finally, we hit a couple of shots. Second unit came in. They took a lead. We end up, ladies and gentlemen, Obi Toppin had a decent first half. He played with some energy. Almost had a nasty dunk. Almost really put it on somebody's head. Almost. And it was feeling good. It was feeling like we were going to be able to finally pull out a win against the Miami Heat. So we took a 7-point lead. Julius Randle gets the shot off just before halftime. But just a split second too late, the Knicks go into halftime up 7. They come out in the third quarter and lay an egg, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy Butler decides to take over the game. He takes over the game in the third quarter. The Miami Heat scored 39 points in that third quarter. They outscored the Knicks 39-21 in the third quarter. And then in the fourth, the Knicks were just unable to muster up enough energy. They couldn't get the timely plays to get the game back under control. We cut it to 8. But we couldn't get it to 6 and then get it to 5 or 4. We just couldn't get it done. We cut it to 8 and Nerlens Noel gets a block. Big block at the basket when Iggy tries to dunk it over him. But the Knicks can't bring in the basketball, and the Miami Heat pick up the loose ball and get a deuce. The Knicks come back down and score, but they just couldn't get over that hump. And eventually, the Miami Heat defense just wore out the Knicks. And Tony and I were just talking about it, man. Coming down the stretch of that game, see, the Miami Heat, if they ever can get it together, fully get it together, they will be dangerous. But I'm going to tell you what, this is a team that we could see in the first round of the playoffs. Right now, we're still in the 4th seed. They're trying to get up to that 4th seed. And if we're in the 4th or the 5th seed, this is a team that we could realistically play in the first round. And it will be a battle. It will be a battle. We were just talking about that zone. We got to learn how to beat that zone and score against that zone. In Miami, they have just a nice strategy with the way that they use the zone, because throughout most of the game, they went to the zone here and there. But then in the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead, they decide we about to knock this zone out. And so then in the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead, they decide to go zone almost completely. And it makes it tough for the Knicks to score. It slows down the Knicks from being able to get up enough shots to come back really, really quick, Nice strategy in the way that they use that zone. And if we got to play them in the first round, you talk about a rivalry. This could be the start of a new rivalry between the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. It could be. Because this is looking like a team that, we're going to have to battle to get through. But my theme for tonight is going to be small goals, man. Small goals. Keep those small goals in front of you and keep accomplishing those small goals. That's my theme. That's what I want us to walk away with. From Tom Thibodeau, I'm going to keep pounding in their brains. Small goals. Yeah, the Miami Heat won a 6-game losing streak. They came in desperate to get a win. They seen a team that they beat twice, and they felt like, we got this. And they took it. But small goals. We couldn't get over 500. Or we couldn't get to 500. Took us a while to get there. We couldn't get over 500. Finally, we get over 500. 2 games over 500. Now we got some other goals. We haven't been able to put together a 4-game win streak. We got a goal. Let's put together a 4-game win streak. We haven't been able to get more than 2 games over 500 this season. Let's get more than 2 games over 500. Small goals, ladies and gentlemen. We keep those small goals in front of us to keep us motivated, to keep us moving, so that we don't always have to look way ahead to the playoffs. We got these small things that we can accomplish right here in front of us that keeps us moving forward. I'm a little bit upset that we lost the game, no doubt about it. I wanted to win this one. I wanted to get that 4th straight. I wanted to go 3 games above 500, but we got a chance to do it. We got a chance to do it, to restart a winning streak versus Minnesota. So we got to go do that one. I wanted to get a split with these 2 games between Milwaukee and Miami. Wanted to get a split. We got a split. But it definitely felt like we could have got both of them. Anyway, let's go ahead, man. Let's talk about this. Tone Crow, Cornerstone Cav, what's popping, man?
Hey, what's up, Stem and Tone? Yeah, man, wanted this one just for our psyche and everything. I don't know what our psyche's going to be now, but they're professionals, and
hey, Cav, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you adjust the camera just a little bit so we got your whole head in there and not just your forehead? There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. How
there
about
you
this? Go. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's much better. That's much better. We want to see your beautiful face on the screen, you know?
Hey, I'm trying to control my blood pressure, man, because I could have been hot, about the whole thing. But I'm like, hey, this is the NBA, like you said, Miami was hungry for they needed a win. They were on a 6-game losing streak, and once we gave them a little confidence, in that 3rd quarter, that was all she wrote. So, we'll bounce back. And if we do meet them in the in the playoffs, it'll be just like 1999.
Yeah, hey man, hey, listen. If we meet these guys in the playoffs, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. And that's another reason why I really wanted to get a win. So that the Knicks can have that feeling to themselves like we can beat this team going into the playoffs. I do not want to go into the playoffs without having beat this team. I don't know if we play them again this season. All right, I'm about to look at the schedule.
No, I think three games is the most we play anybody this year.
Okay, 3 games is the most. So, so now if we do see them in the playoffs, right, we're going in without having beat them once, and they're going in with beating us all 3 times, and in your psyche, yeah, that's big. No, we don't play them again. That's big in your psyche for both teams. It's big for them and it's big for us, and feeling like, this is a team, that we got to get over the hump against. Now, if we get one of those first 2 games, all of a sudden, your confidence is like, oh, yep, we can beat this team. Let's go. You know what I mean? So,
hey Sim, well, you'll be like it's time. Shout out to the chat, Sim. Do you think they feel more confident that they could beat us in a series, or I'll say this: do you think they feel more confident that they could sweep us in a series? Or we feel more confident that we could beat them, get a game, win a series.
I think they probably,
even if it's not a sweep.
I think they probably feel more confident that they can. I don't know if they. I don't. Yeah, probably they probably have more confidence that way because they've been there. And they know, listen, they're gonna know the numbers. They're gonna have all the background information. And excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually in the 5th seed now, but they're gonna have all the statistics and all the information. If we were to play them to say, you know what, they only have 5 guys that's ever been in the playoffs before. They don't have anybody that's been past the Eastern Conference Finals or a conference finals. they're going to know all that stuff. And I think they will understand, that, we're going to go into the playoffs not knowing what we're doing, basically. You know what I'm saying? And, they got guys like Jimmy Butler, who's been to the finals, Iggy, who's been, he's won championships already.
Well, they all been to the finals. All of them been to the finals, right? So, they got a whole squad that's been to the finals, and Iggy, who's been to multiple finals. So, I think that would be a big confidence boost for them, and a sense of security that they can kind of rely on. And for us, we're going to go in with our eyes wide open like, oh, shit, we're actually here? Like, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? So, which is okay for me. It is perfectly fine for me. If we went in the first round and played Miami and we lost 4-2, I would be okay, because I would know that this is a building block in a way that you can, you're not going to get in the playoffs your first time and just be on fire, right? You're going to have to go through some battles. For most teams that are building the way that we're building, you're going to have to go through some battles. And I almost have a feeling that we're going to face these guys in the first round and have to battle them in the first round of this year's playoffs. And this may be the team. If we continue to ascend the way that we're ascending, this will be one of the teams that we have to get over, have to beat in order to advance and move on to the next level. I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Which is okay, because I love that kind of, it's okay for me because I like that kind of victory. I like that kind of battle. That is building a real team to me. And I know a lot of people look at Brooklyn and be like, well, they about to win the championship. But if we get to that point, we'll have a different feeling about this team than if you just, obviously I want to go out and get some star players, but, we'll have a core guys with Randall and RJ and Quickly and, maybe Mitch and a bunch of guys that you could say, these guys really went through the fire to get there. So that'll be encouraging. But again, man, small goals. We keep looking at them small goals, trying to get through those small goals. Now our next goal to me is let's get 3 games above 500. Let's win 4 games straight. Let's win more than 3 games straight. Like, keep looking at those small goals and accomplishing those small goals. Eddie, what's going on, man?
What's happening? I love the way you opened the show up, talking about, just keeping the small goals in mind and building the right way, building slowly. These are the types of games where you go around and everybody's like, up in arms and like, oh, the team needs this. We should have done this. This is what happens when we do this. And, everybody just wants instant gratification, man. And it's just not like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're talking about professional sports, things are not like that. You brought up the way Brooklyn, the way Brooklyn's gone about doing their things. You know who Brooklyn reminds me of? Brooklyn reminds me of the Miami Marlins. I think Miami Marlins have around 2 championships under their belt, if I'm not mistaken. But every time they win those championships, they break it up. And you could never go and say Miami Marlins are like the Chicago Cubs or even the New York Yankees and such, because they're just different. They're just different. Yeah, I mean, these are the types of games that people are just go crazy over. Be like, I can't believe we lost. We should have traded at the trade deadline and stuff. And I went back and I looked at when Pat Riley first took over the Miami Heat, right? Just to compare our year, our number 1 year regime compared to when he took over, right? He took over in 1995, and that team was 10th in the standings, and they won 32 games. Eerily similar to what we're on core 4. We're on par 4. You know, we might win around 30 something games. Is a shorter season, right? Looks like we might be a little bit above 10th in the standings. I don't know yet, but to me, it seems like we can be like around at least the 8th in the standings. So we're on par, man. He took over in 1995. We're in 2021. That's over 26 years of him doing this and knowing the system and implementing the system and implementing the players and being able to do these trades at the trade deadline because of all the experience that he has. This is year 1 for us. And we just have to keep that in perspective. And, you know, I hate losing to Miami. I hate losing, period. But they're building blocks. You know, I can't overreact to one game. I can't overreact when we win one game. You know what I'm saying? We just have to be steady and we have to stay the course and just keep on building, man. It's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? And I do agree with you that I like having this type of team where you have to get over the hump. If we go into the playoffs and we lose, that's fine with me, man, because the next year we have to go back and we have to face them again. And hopefully we'll win. And if we don't win, we'll come back a third time. But when we win, it's going to feel so good. It's going to taste so good, you know, that you're going to be proud to be a Knicks fan. So that's my 2 cents on how I feel about this game and how I feel about our trajectory and how we going about our things this year and for the future.
Yeah,
that's the best I've heard.
Cornerstone,
cool. I like that, Ed.
Talk to me, Cornerstone. Like, are you hurting? What's up?
No, I'm not hurt at all. I'm not. I mean, yeah, I'm mad that we lost the game, but no, I mean, it's off to the next one. I would have liked to have beat this team at least once to show that we can beat them. But like you said, we were in all 3 of these games. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some, and we just got to start a new winning streak. And like you said, those short goals, we got to make those short time goals. All right, we won 3 straight. Now we have. Wait, did we win 4 straight? We won 4 straight,
no,
right?
We won 3 straight. 3 straight.
We're trying to get to 4.
We're trying to get to 4.
3 straight. Okay, so now, yeah, let's start to 4 and then go from there. What I am happy about is that we haven't had more than a 5-game lose streak. That's pretty much cool. I mean, because there have been times in years past where we was losing left and right. So, I mean, we've done more this year than what we've done in the past, I'll say past 5 or 6 years. So,
right.
But
let me ask you, any concern about Randall and his thigh?
Nah, not long term. Maybe suffering a little bit of the effects, but I attribute it more to, you know how he said like first come like he always plays bad the first game out the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. I contribute it to something like that kind of situation, like first game back. You know, even though he only missed 1, he hasn't missed a game prior all season. So you know what I mean. I think it was more so that than And got to give credit to Miami's defense.
Yeah.
But I will say this, man. Like before you break down the numbers and everything, because the ones I'm interested in is the offensive rebound comparison, the second chance point comparison. And then prior to that, I felt like missed free throws, like gave them opportunities in that like that third quarter.
Oh,
maybe
wow.
even that second quarter.
Yeah.
So free throws, finishing that defensive play. Our defense was there. We just couldn't get the rebound, which ultimately killed us. So offensive rebounds and then second chance points. Because I guarantee they beat us in all of both those categories.
And this free throw thing is happening. It's happening more frequently. right? Where it's
Yeah, that's
hard for us
that's
to
the
put
problem.
teams away because we're not hitting our free throws. You know what I'm saying? And when you play against a good basketball team, you know, you got it. Whatever you can, whatever you have, whatever weapon you can use to put the team away, you gotta be able to put them away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we continuously, you know, miss free throws, and miss free throws. You know, that's you know, it depletes your team, and it doesn't give you the chance to deplete your energy, right? You do all this work to get to the free throw line, and you only get 1 point out of it. You know what I mean? And it gives the other team a little energy. Like, okay, you know, that was a good foul. You know what I'm saying? Because you only got 1 point out of the jump. You know, so, you know, we got to be able to knock down those free throws. Tonight, the Knicks, from the free throw line, we were 12 for 20 from the free throw line tonight, 60%. Right, we end up losing this game. We end up losing this game by 10. Right,
That's 8 points right there.
That's 8 points right there. You know what I'm saying? We make half of those that we missed. It's a 6-point game coming down the stretch. You know, maybe not fully a 6-point game because they did extend that lead to about 15, but it could still be a different game down the stretch, right? Even when it was 15, we make half of those free throws. It's 11, and when we do go on a little run, right, instead of us cutting it from 15 to 8, you know, we cutting it from 11 to, you know, what's that for? You know what I'm saying? It makes a big difference, man. Makes a big difference. The Miami Heat tonight, they had 12 offensive rebounds. The Knicks only had 6 offensive rebounds. They beat us on the board 47-41 tonight. Right? And they had 12 offensive rebounds. On the defensive glass, we tied them on the defensive glass. We both had 35 defensive rebounds, but they had 12 offensive rebounds, and we only had 6 offensive rebounds.
There you go.
It's a big difference. You know what I mean? And a lot of that was them being a little bit more desperate. We got to get to those loose balls, right? We got to get to the loose ball. You know, we got to get those offensive rebounds. You know, just having a little bit more desperation and that will to win than we had tonight. When you
Let
look
me
at
ask you a question, Sim.
Yep, go ahead.
Sim, real quick. Okay, so though Milwaukee didn't have the same personnel that they're used to, they ran zone all game.
Right.
Did you think that we, as a team, that we handled their zone better than what we handled against Miami?
Well, yes.
I think it was the
same.
We
did. I think we handled it because, you know, we shot 36% from the three-point line against the Milwaukee Bucks. We shot 44 three-point attempts. We shot 36%, close to 37%. We did a better job getting inside the zone and scoring layups inside the zone against the Milwaukee Bucks. We actually made Budenholzer call a timeout, right? Because we penetrated to the basket and scored, and he was pissed off that we penetrated their zone and scored. I think the difference between one of the big differences between Miami's zone that they played against us and the Milwaukee Bucks against Miami, right? They switch. Sometimes they're playing man, sometimes they're playing defense. And when they're playing man, it's an aggressive man, right? So now, you know, they're up on us. They're tight up on us. They're pulling and pushing and all of that. So it's already physical. And then now come down the stretch of the game, they want to go heavy zone. You're physically and mentally tired from scrapping with these guys all night. Now you got to figure out how to beat this zone. And they're still closing out on the shooters in this zone. So it's not like they're just laying back and not playing aggressive. They're still playing an aggressive zone. It just makes it that much more tough to deal with when you have a team that plays an aggressive zone and you know, you feel like, yeah, I'm going to get some easy shots up, and then all of a sudden they're all up. They're up in your space, and you're still not getting those easy shots up. You can't penetrate because you got somebody helping out in the zone, you know, and it just makes it tough. You know, and I think that's part of what really made their zone so much tougher and we had a tougher time dealing with it, you know, because they wear you out physically and mentally throughout the game and then throw a zone at you, and now you got to think through that. So, yeah, I think they were much tougher defensively with their zone than Milwaukee was. Because with Milwaukee, we got a ton of open threes. You know what I'm saying? That it was, you know, easy looks from the 3-point line. You know, we got a few easy looks tonight, but definitely not as many. So it was it was a tough game.
You don't think that was based off of like our late rotation or our fumbling a pass? You know what I mean? Like I think Milwaukee's zone was pretty effective. It's just the fact of they ran it the whole game. So we, you know what I mean? We had spurts of busting it where, like you're saying, you know, we didn't have enough time to have a spurt to bust Miami's zone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and the timing that they ran it, the timing that they ran it was just so effective, in my opinion. But even to me, in my opinion, the bobbling of passes and stuff like that, that's because you know you got a guy flying at you and you got to try to get around him, or you got to try to get that shot off. You seen Reggie Bullock a few times tonight catch that ball and try to get up really quick because he knew that defense is coming at you. You know, with Milwaukee, they had time to kind of relax. Let me get myself set and shoot it up. With Miami, you knew I got to get going. So you see Alec Burks in the corner, right? He wanted to get that 3 off so bad, but then he fumbled it. He couldn't get it off, and Miami defender was right there. But he wanted to get it off, but because he's trying to get it off before he has possession of the basketball, he fumbles it a little bit. I think when you have guys flying at you, it creates that. It makes you fumble, and the pass is not really be on point because you're trying to get the pass over quick and all those little type of things.
So Sim, as a coach, you're seeing that the opposite team is throwing that zone at you, and they're coming at you the way Miami did. What do you tell your team?
It's not what you tell them. It's about practicing it, and you don't get a chance to practice it a lot because. You know, because of you don't get a lot of practices, you know, because you could tell them something all day, but it's about the habits that are being built, and you build those habits through play. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But what you're trying to get them to do, especially a team like Miami who is attacking in their zone, and you've seen them try to do it in the first half. Rose tried to do it, Elfrid Payton tried to do it, and they were somewhat successful. A few times. They tried to make sure that they got the ball up the court quicker, a little bit quicker, right? You seen Derrick Rose go the length of the court off of getting the ball from the inbounds and attack. You seen Elfrid Payton do the same thing. I think you got to have a little bit more of that when you're going against the zone, right? Because when you're going against the zone, if you let Miami set their zone up, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, right? But if you can beat it up the floor, right? You get a couple of buckets, and now you might make them second think that zone, or you force them to go man because, you know, they're like, yo, they're going to get out. They're going to try to get out and run and get an easy bucket. We got to make sure that we are getting back on defense. So now they may send less people to the offensive glass, so they're not banging that offensive glass as much. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's different ways and things you got to do, but of course you got to be efficient in doing those things. If you're trying to get up the floor and beat the zone up the floor, but you're not busting it and you're just turning the ball over, right? Or you're missing layups and they come back the other way and score, then, you know, then the zone did its job too. So it's tough to deal with a team that can play a good zone.
Yeah, and it's hard to outrun them. Mm-hmm. They conditions for that.
Well,
they're conditioned for that.
I have an idea on how we can match up better. Just knowing Tom Thibodeau, it's probably something that we'll never see. Well, I think this is the last time we'll play him in the regular season. And, you know, in the playoffs, all bets are off. So, you know, we might actually see some of this. But when we play a Miami Heat team, I think what we have to do is just go smaller. Put Julius at the 5. Start. I mean, there's multiple things that you can do. You can actually start Taj instead of Noel, even though Noel played a heck of a game today. But it's not so much as the defense; it's more of the spreading of the court, so that we can play a little bit better in that zone when they play some of that zone, and have another ball handler, another offensive presence. But my first inclination would be to start Julius Randle and to either start quickly or Alec Burks. This my thinking being that Derrick Rose will start, of course, right? Not Elfrid Payton. And I think that's going to happen pretty soon. I don't know, because Thibodeau is very, I don't want to say stubborn. Stubborn is not the word I want to use.
I'll say it's stubborn.
He's calculated. He's very calculated when he does these things, because, one of the reasons why I don't think he puts Peyton on the bench is, and I believe this too, he knows he's going to need him 1 or 2 games. Like Peyton actually won us a couple of games this year. Scoring 20 points, assisting well. He had a couple of good games where if we didn't have Peyton, we wouldn't have won this certain games. So you don't want to bench a player and then lose his focus, lose him emotionally. Say, okay, I got cut from the first team. You want to keep him. You want to keep him there. You want to keep him engaged. But when we're in the playoffs, all bets are off, and to play against a team because the way we've been doing it this year, it hasn't been going well. So to me, I just think that we got to put Randle at the 5, match him up against what's this guy's name?
Bam Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo, and either put in Alec Burks. I think because Trevor Ariza is playing the 4. I think RJ Barrett could play the 4 easily. Guard Trevor Ariza.
You think so?
Well, if he's guarding Trevor Ariza, he can play the 4. I can see that.
Yeah.
Right, because the 3 is who was their starting 5? It was Dragic. It was Duncan Robinson.
Yeah. Trevor Ariza.
It was Duncan Robinson, Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, and Trevor Ariza.
Okay, Jimmy. Okay, so there's Jimmy, right? So we could put Reggie Bullock on Jimmy. We can put Alec Burks on Duncan Robinson, put RJ Barrett on Trevor Ariza, and whoever's starting at point guard, put him to play against Dragic. So I think it matches up perfectly. And it just lends itself to have a little bit more open space, a little bit more pace, so that we can match up a little bit better. Because once we play one of our centers, they're not scoring for us. They're just defending. And these guys are shooting from outside. They're not driving to the basket. You know what I'm saying? The only one that drives to the basket right now is Jimmy Butler. Hopefully,
you're absolutely right. Yep.
Hopefully, Reggie Bullock can contain him a little bit in those situations.
Yeah. So now tonight, as far as points in the paint, let's see what the points in the paint were. Tonight, for Miami, they had 42 points in the paint. We had 42 points in the paint. I mean, listen, they go small. I mean, they're a small team, and we can match up with them that way, going small. A couple of super chats here. The first one, Daryl Ebanks, he said, "Thanks, guys. A lot of Knicks fans needed this perspective. We appreciate it. Yes, small goals. I'm going to keep that theme throughout the show. Small goals. Small goals. That's how you keep the team motivated and looking forward." Demo B, thank you for the super chat. He said, "I believe we are headed in the right direction. It hurts losing to the Heat. It definitely does. But I think with the draft and the cap space, we'll be ready in a year or two." I mean, listen, we still got a lot more building to do this year. I'm not skipping past this year. We still got a lot of building to do this year. That's why I'm talking about the small goals, because we're still in position where we can be, I know we look and we see teams that we think are coming up behind us because people got better, this and that, but we still have the ability to be in this 4th or 5th spot. I do think we have the ability to be there. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to battle, but that's what this team has been doing all season long. All right. Dylan B, thank you for the super chat. He said, "Just curious for your guys' opinions. I know he's in there for his defense, but do you think Tibbs will or needs to take Payton out of the starting five? And we were just talking about that. Eddie C was just talking about that. I think it's possible that Rose could become the starter. But if Rose becomes the starter, you're still going to need Elfrid Payton out there, right? I think you're still going to need Elfrid Payton out there to go up against some of these guards that, you know, when you take Derrick Rose out, now who's defending some of these guards that might be in the game? Are you depending on Alec Burks to do it, or are you depending on Elfrid Payton to do it? I also think Elfrid Payton is our best penetrator. You know, or maybe him and Derrick Rose are our best penetrators. So he's still going to play. You know, whether or not Thibodeau decides to start Derrick Rose and bring Elfrid Payton off the bench, we'll see how he decides to go. I think what matters to Thibodeau the most, though, is how lineups work. I think I'm gonna get to you 1 second, Eddie. I think what matters to Thibodeau the most is how lineups work together. To him, I mean, you see it every game. Elfrid Payton starts. If he's playing well, he plays. If he's not playing well, he doesn't play. Coming down the stretch of the game, if he's, you know, if he needs him out there, he puts him in there down the stretch of the game. It goes like that for just about all of his players. And of course, you know, Derrick Rose can be in and out of the lineup because of health reasons. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, look, I'm not mad at the way that Tom Thibodeau is using the players in the lineup because you can always make a substitution and say, this ain't working. I want to go with this, or I want to go with that. I mean, tonight, we started off 13-12 in the first quarter, right? Payton had 5 of those points. We made substitutions. We ended the first quarter 21-16, right? We scored 4 more points. Now, in the second quarter, Emmanuel quickly came in. We got some other guys come in. Miami Heat have some of their subs come in, and we go up. You know, we go up to 9 points, have a 9-point lead. We go into the half with a 7-point lead. Could have been a 9-point lead, but that shot at the end, Randall missed that shot at the end. You know, so and then you know when you look at when you look at the second half.
Real quick, did you have?
Hold up, Kev. When you look at the second half, you know, there was not much we could do either way. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Kev.
Did you have a problem with Quick hitting that technical?
I didn't like it because I thought that Emmanuel quickly actually created the the contact himself. When you look at the replay, Emmanuel quickly tried to hook Jimmy Butler's arm to try to draw the foul, which is what a lot of players are starting to do. He shouldn't have argued.
He put his left hand up and then brought the ball. He put his left hand up under Jimmy Butler's arm, and then put his right hand out to shoot it.
Exactly. So he actually hooked. That's what he does. He actually hooked Jimmy Butler's arm. If you look at the replay, Emmanuel quickly hooked Jimmy Butler's arm, and then you know, he didn't get the foul call, you know what I mean, and he threw it up, and then he started complaining, and so, you know, he deserved to get the tech. You know,
you're going to have to be playing a couple more years in the league to get that call against Jimmy.
Yep. He deserved to get the tech.
And just to answer the question,
go ahead,
the question from the guy that was talking about switching Payton. Today, Kendrick Nunn didn't play. Right? So if we start Derrick Rose, when Kendrick Nunn comes in, Payton would be perfect to play against defense against somebody like Kendrick Nunn.
Yep.
So there you go there.
So you know, like I'm saying, it's all about lineups in the way guys work and play together. You know, who's going to be better coming off the bench, who provides you with a boost, you know, all kinds of things, right? Because right now, people wait for Derrick Rose to come in to help provide you a boost. You know, obviously, if Payton ends up going to the bench, you may not get that boost, that same kind of boost. So it's all about lineups in the game. It's all about lineups. It's not just about the starting and all of that. It's more about who finishes and the lineups throughout the game and how you mix it and match it to make it work. Sandy Villario, thank you for the super chat. He said 2 things I noticed. Randall had his old salty attitude, and we missed Mitch grabbing offensive rebounds. We definitely missed Mitch grabbing his offensive rebounds. And I thought, like Tony was saying early, Randall was just a little bit slow out the gate. Just a little bit slow getting his engine going. Let me get to a couple phone calls here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Hey, can you hear me? I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Okay, yeah. Let me turn my TV down. I'll say this. I think Tibbs did a terrible coaching job. And I'll say it because the Knicks did no adjustments again and again in this game. The second game, third game, Tibbs made no adjustments. You can tell Randall is frustrated. He made no real adjustments for Randall at all, and you can see Randall's whole attitude. After that, you can see like the whole body language, it declines. Let's jump to the third quarter. He allowed Jimmy Butler once again to walk that ball up and not defend Jimmy. You have to defend Jimmy, because if Jimmy wants to bring that ball up, you have to then make him work that whole game. He walked past that defense. And
who allowed him to do that? Who allowed him to do that?
I think that's on Tibbs, because Tibbs should have pressed him from Jump Street. And then once he got that ball up to the half court, then doubled him at times and get that ball out of his hands. You can't allow a player like Jimmy, who's an all-star, to get into a swing of a game like that and to just basically manhandle them. He basically punked the Knicks out again. I mean, you can tell like he's waiting. You can see even in the first half where he penetrated, and you can hear Frazier call the game talking about he's 6 feet away from the basket and not shooting. Why? Because he knew at this time that, you know what, I can get to here, I can get to this spot anytime I want. And he's pitching it out because then he's trying to get the other players to get into the game. He's smart enough to know that he can't win that game all by himself, but he can take control when he wants. You have to alter what he's doing. If you allow a player like an all-star like Jimmy Butler to just really kind of run through your thing and start banging and punking y'all out, you can see where he's pushing people, nudging people off. You can't allow that. That is what basically tore the Knicks down. And each time, Thibodeau has to make some form of a change. If you allow a coach like Eric Sosa to scheme against you and you not making adjustments, he's one of the best in the game. He's probably in the top 3 coaches in the game who makes adjustments. Tibbs made 0 adjustments on the fly and to change up. You have to show that defense, defensively, you have to show them something a little bit different. What they did was horrible.
Well, let me just jump in right here real quick, right? Because I think that, as far as Jimmy Butler bringing the ball up, there was one time when he did bring the ball up and he went to the basket, and Reggie Bullock, that was Reggie Bullock's guy, right? I don't know where Reggie Bullock was, or where we had all 5 defenders were back. Somebody was floating around that was supposed to be on Jimmy Butler. Most of it wasn't always Jimmy Butler bringing the ball up. A lot of times it was going Dragic bringing the ball up, and then they get Jimmy Butler the ball, off of a couple of screens, and he get the ball, and make some, and then you got him in the half court going 1-on-1.
But in the third quarter, he had 15 points. When
hold up.
9 of them on straight, right?
Hold up, bro. Hold up. What I'm saying is, even if you have somebody guard Jimmy Butler full court, they just give it to another guard to bring the ball up, and then you get Jimmy Butler the ball in the half court.
Well, you're better off with that, because then you're still going, because everything is still going off timing and the clock, right? Right? You've coached. So I can't allow a player to just walk down and say, hey, and I'm going to keep you in the rhythm and the swing of the game, so he can see the court from that angle. You got to push him into spots where he's uncomfortable. But he's dictating the game as he comes down to you. You can't have that. You can't allow him, a player of that magnitude, to be that comfortable on the court. He walked right through the Knicks. And halftime, he wasn't even contested at certain points of the game when he got past. Like if he got past one man, if they bumped him, that was it. He was already inside the paint and either ditched off or he scored. He basically tore us in half after that point of the game.
I mean, I thought Jimmy Butler played a really, really good. I thought he played a good basketball game. Yeah, I think it was more than just Jimmy Butler. And I appreciate the call, my man. I thought it was more than just Jimmy Butler as to the reason why they won the basketball game. Bam Adebayo had 17 rebounds, 20 points and 17 rebounds. Right? Yes, Jimmy Butler had 27 points, and I'm not taking anything away from Jimmy Butler and you know what he did tonight. He played a very good basketball game tonight. But you know, as far as the adjustments, okay. So if I say we're not going to let Jimmy Butler dribble the basketball up the floor, and Goran Dragic dribbles the basketball up the floor, and then you find Jimmy Butler in the mid post, yeah, it's going to be the same thing. It's not just that easy. First of all, it's not easy to just make these adjustments right in the middle of the basketball game. It is not that easy. It's so much easier said than done to make these adjustments right in the middle. Yes, teams make adjustments, right? And you have coaches and you have people who help you to make adjustments and look at certain things. But ultimately, you're going to have some players who are just superior than others. And sometimes they're going to be on and they're going to play a better basketball game. We played 2 games against these Miami Heat team, and we played the same exact way both games. And those previous 2 games went down to the wire. But we were hitting more shots than we did tonight. And you know, they got to more loose balls. They got to more offensive rebounds tonight than we did.
They were desperate.
You know,
they were desperate.
Yeah, I don't know if you look and say we just didn't make the right adjustments. I don't know if it's that simple to me. I just don't know if it's that simple, you know, because you know they just did a lot of little things that we didn't do. I just don't know if it comes down to just being the adjustments on the floor, and that Thibodeau didn't want to make adjustments. I just can't buy that because, you know, basketball just doesn't work that easy. Maybe you see him the next time you look at the tape and you can look at the tape and pinpoint certain things and say, okay, we should try to do this time or that this time. And you practice those things. That's another thing that really gets me about people talking about the adjustments during the middle of the game. When you make adjustments from, say you're in the playoffs and you make adjustments from one game to the next, you get time to practice those adjustments and figure out how it's going to work. And then when you're in practice, you figure out, okay, what are they going to do to counter this, right? That's where your adjustments really do come in. In the middle of a game, it is very, very hard to make those type of minute, detailed adjustments. Yes, you can change who is guarding who. You can say, okay, you guard this guy full court now. They're in zone, so let's do this type of offense or that type of offense. But some of those minute things that really change a game, that happens between games. It doesn't happen mid-game. Because it's very, very hard to make those kind of adjustments mid-game. Because like I said plenty of times, you see the game differently when you're on the court as a coach looking at the game. You see it one way. When you look at the game on a television screen and you can stop it and see who should have rotated here, who should move here. You know, did he go to his left all the time? Did he go to his right all the time? Did he isolate this person on this side of the floor or that side of the floor? You can really break those type of things down and start to make changes. In the midst of a game, you can't do that. You can make surface adjustments, right? This guy is really big. We're going to send 2 guys to box him out because he's really big. That's a surface adjustment. Okay, and a team can readjust to that just like that. We're going to pick up Jimmy Butler full court. Okay, we'll give the ball to Goran Dragic to bring the ball up. Jimmy, you go down the baseline, come off those 2 screens and get the ball at the mid-post. Right? You make that kind of adjustment that quick. We're going to send a double team at Jimmy Butler to get the ball out of his hands. Okay, Jimmy, you're going to kick the ball back out to Tyler Hero. He's going to swing it over to Duncan Robinson for probably an open 3 because we just sent 2 guys at Jimmy Butler. Easy way to adjust it. Right, so you can do some surface adjustments, but real minute detail adjustments that really change the game in the way that you play, in the way that another team might play, usually happens game to game. In my opinion, I'll just say that. In my opinion, it usually happens game to game. It's hard to make those type of things in the middle of the game. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why you have playoffs.
And that's the reason why
they have playoffs. I'm sure.
And that's the reason why you have a series when you come to the playoffs.
Exactly. I'm sure Tom Thibodeau,
and
if we do have to face this team,
Cornerstone,
sure
let me stop you right quick. Let me stop you right quick, because this is another person who can only digest surface adjustments. Cooking with Chef Zay. Oh, Sim, they are NBA players. They get paid millions of dollars. They can adjust. Yes, they can adjust. But the coaches have to come up with the schemes, not the players. The coaches come up with the schemes. So if the coach does not come up with a scheme to make the adjustment, the player may not make the adjustment. That's why I'm saying game to game is when those adjustments are made best. It is very hard to do it mid-game. You can tell somebody to guard this player or guard that player. You can tell someone, hey, force him to his left, force him to his right. You can do some of those surface things. Those are very, very surface adjustments. But when you talk about minute, detailed adjustments, which are the ones that normally change the game, like real hardcore coaching adjustments, those things happen game to game. You know what I'm saying? To me, those things happen game to game. You know, you get a chance to practice a little bit. You know, you have someone act like they're Bam Adebayo. How we're going to play defense on Bam Adebayo. You have somebody act like you're Jimmy Butler. How are we going to play defense on Jimmy Butler? You know what I'm saying? I know those guys. Now, if your players can't make those adjustments after you've had a chance to really implement it and practice it, now you got a problem with your players. You know, in-game adjustments, the kind of adjustments that people are talking about are very difficult to make, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? You can make adjustments to lineups and stuff like that.
And just to add to that point, you know, when you have players like Andre Iguodala that are like coaches on the floor, like Jimmy Butler, they can make those changes in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to compare somebody like Julius Randle to Iguodala as players. We can all say that Julius Randle is a better player right now than Iguodala. But from a mental standpoint, from adjusting at certain points in the game, at critical points in the game, Andre Iguodala is head and shoulders above Julius Randle.
Yep.
So it just pays to have those types of players. And they have Jimmy Butler who does that as well. I think Dragic is another player on their team that can do those sorts of things mentally. So, yeah, there's differences between NBA players mentally and in those situations in crunch time.
Right. Let me get to a question. Ricardo Custer, he said, but Sim, wouldn't you call a timeout and assign Jimmy another player? I mean, the stretch in the third quarter. Here's the thing. So I call a timeout and I say, Reggie, you got Jimmy. And they say, okay, Reggie has Jimmy, but we don't want Reggie to guard Jimmy. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to throw a screen at Reggie Bullock. And the person that we want guarding Jimmy Butler, we're going to get it. So let's say they want R.J. Barrett to guard Jimmy Butler. Right? And R.J. Barrett is guarding Duncan Robinson. We say, Duncan, go set a screen on Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler comes off the screen. Guess what? They're probably going to switch. And guess now who's guarding Jimmy Butler? R.J. Barrett. Right? And when you got players like Eddie is saying that have that type of intelligence on the floor, that can make a switch, that can make an adjustment at the drop of a dime because they know what they want to do, you know, it makes those adjustments just, it can nullify those adjustments just like that. Like, that's another surface adjustment. You know what I'm saying? That is a surface adjustment, again, to say, you go guard Jimmy Butler. You can have that person guard him, and if they really, really want to get another defender on them, all they do is send a screen, because most teams switch. And if they don't switch, now you're caught because Jimmy Butler's probably going to come off that screen and you decide we're not going to switch. We're going to let that guy go over top of the screen. Jimmy Butler has a lane to the basket. You say, no, go under the screen. You have a better way. Well, Jimmy Butler stops and pulls the three because of the screen that's there. You know what I'm saying? So
And here's the thing.
Hold on.
Miami has two Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kevin said, I guess all the teams Miami played, none of those teams Miami played know how to coach. Jimmy is a scrub, overrated. Wow. Right. I get what he's saying. He's saying all those other teams. He's not calling Jimmy a scrub. He's saying, we're complaining about Thibodeau, but all those other teams, are they bad coaches? Are they scrubs? I mean, no, he's a good basketball player. It's going to happen.
Yep.
Yep.
You got two seasoned veterans. You got two seasoned veterans on that Miami team, in Butler and Iguodala. They like you said, Sam. They're individual. They can be individual coaches. To their teammates. It is what it is. We're not there yet.
Right. And Joe Sko Sixtray said. Sko Sixtray said it's too freaking late to make adjustments game to game. You almost have no, like I said, you can make surface adjustments, but you almost have no choice but to make adjustments game to game. That's why you have a playoff series, because you can make adjustments. You can make adjustments, right? Like big adjustments.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I see you, Isaiah. I'm gonna get to you. But you can look at everything during halftime. You can look at things during halftime and make some slight adjustments during halftime, obviously, right? You can make some adjustments, but I feel like the kind of adjustments that people are talking about, the kind that really change a game, happen between game to game if you're playing the same team. It's very hard to make those type of major adjustments that really do switch the flow of a game in game. It's very hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can switch the offense that you're playing. You can switch who's defending players. You can change up the type of defense that you're playing. You might go to a full court trap. You might go to a half court trap. Those type of things you can, you change up, right? You look at the game, this guy's getting a lot of rebounds. Maybe if we send two guys at him, or maybe if we double team Jimmy Butler, maybe if we double team that guy, you can make those kind of adjustments. You can do that. That's not what I'm talking about, because those kind of adjustments, it can help you in a tight game and this and that, but it doesn't change. It doesn't automatically change. If you're down 15, those adjustments right there ain't going to change it. You know what I'm saying? It's got to come down to the players making shots, the players making hustle plays, the players getting rebounds, the players getting stops on defense. It's got to come down to those things, right? Because when you got a player going like Jimmy Butler, you send a double team at him, he's probably going to kick it out, swing it around the perimeter, and someone's going to be open from three.
Especially with those guys, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero.
Yeah, so you can make some of those surface adjustments, but those adjustments, people always think all those little adjustments win the games. Most of the time, it's not. Most of the time, the thing that wins the game is you're making shots, you're taking care of the ball, you're not turning the basketball over, those type of things. And your substitution patterns, of course, you know what I'm saying, that helps with, the flow of the game and things like that. But, those adjustments change the game a little bit for a little while, and then the other team adjusts right back.
Yep.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
Hey, what's going on, Sam? What's going on? Hold on, okay. Funny. Yeah, man. This, Kevin's making me laugh.
I know where you're going.
Nah, listen, man. I think tonight was just one of those nights where you just see a team that just has the playoff experience turn it on, and we just can't beat Miami this. We can't beat Miami this year, which frustrates me because I always want to beat Miami. Just their adjustments, their championship pedigree, type of culture that they have, the defense and the players that they have. Just RJ Barrett has played bad against Miami. I mean, the whole team in general just plays bad against Miami. We miss shots. You score in the low 80s to 90s against them, man. It's just one of those teams that you just, I just wouldn't want to face in the playoffs just because they're just really tough, man. It's very frustrating. But again, you just see the level that we can hopefully get one day as a team and as a culture so that, we can have that kind of defense. And, we're learning. We're a young team. A lot of these guys don't have playoff experience besides Tobbs and D Rose. But, once we get into the playoffs, man, can't wait for us to get those experience. I feel like we might get mollywopped, but it's going to be a good mollywop because we're going to be learning and we're going to get better. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think we have that kind of defense already. It's do we have an offense that can deal with that kind of defense? Right? We have that kind of defense.
Defense to a certain extent. I think Miami just has a better I just see a whole playoff experience defense. I feel like they turned it on against us. Like for a team that's lost 6 straight, man, and I get it, they're a hungry team. And, with teams that are desperate, they play their best. Just a team that's lost 6 straight, man, they just turned it on against us tonight. But, it doesn't help that we really can't score like that. So
let's put it like this. We played good defense tonight. They scored 98 points. The defense wasn't the issue. It was us scoring. That was the issue, right? Us scoring the basketball.
That's the defense.
But what I'm saying is you said our defense will get there. We have that kind of defense. We held them to 98 points. We have that kind of defense, right? We have one of the top defenses in the league. We can hold teams down. It was us offensively. We couldn't score the basketball. Yes, because they play good defense. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have the kind of defense they have. We don't have the kind of offense that they have.
Yeah, I agree.
RJ Barrett had a bunch of open threes at the beginning of the game and didn't hit them.
Yeah.
Wide open. It didn't hit them because we don't have that kind of offense yet. You know what I mean? We don't have that kind of offense yet. But we played good defense.
We kept them to 98 points. That's good defense. It just, when we needed to play defense the most, it didn't show up. I would say that tonight. I think when we needed to play defense the most, it didn't show up, especially in that third quarter. That was just a joke. There was no defense.
I think we let it. Yeah, I totally agree, Isaiah. I think we just let our guard down that third quarter.
In the third quarter, they came out and they busted us.
I think that had to do with since Randall has that muscle injury in his thigh. It's harder for him to get going when you're coming out of the halftime. You know what I'm saying? Like it took him a quarter to start going, and he started playing a little bit better in the second quarter. And then you go into halftime, and then he started getting better again around the fourth quarter. So, our top dog, he's hurt and he's limping, and it gives him he needs time to get that muscle going. Yeah. We're gonna start off bad.
But you know what, Eddie? I gotta admit, I think our bench. I would love to see what the bench points were, for this game. But our bench pretty much got us that lead and was, had us stable until the third.
And to be honest with you, it's Sim and Kevin. And this has been an issue all year. My opinion is that Tibbs' rotation has to get better, man. His rotation killed me today. It's like I was just watching the game, and I'm just like, yo, why isn't he playing Obi right now? Like Obi, like you can feel the energy when Obi playing good.
Yeah, Obi did good tonight.
I'm good at him getting the confidence, and the confidence is there for the kid. That I finally see the confidence. I'm like, he should play. He doesn't play, and then like you also have like Payton not playing good and D Rose playing good, and you wait till like there's like 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and the lead's already ballooned. Then you put D Rose in, and I'm like, yo, it's just been an issue with this whole year. Where I think the rotation just hasn't been up to par. And him recognizing, what player, to me, sometimes recognizing what player's hot and what player's in a good groove, and when a player's cold and not in a good groove. You know what I'm saying? So he just got to get better. But it's still year one, and I do think this will get better with it. But it's just frustrating watching it this year because I've been watching so many games where this rotation just sometimes it kills us.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say to that, Isaiah. See, the thing is this: when you have we're talking about Thibodeau. When you have a coach, I was trying to find another way to say it, but let's just talk about it this way. when you have a coach that is, let's say the word whimsy, and the guy just, he takes somebody out because this and this and that. Oh, I see this is not working. I'm going to take you out. I'm going to sit you on the bench for this amount of minutes. The next game, the player plays more. Then the next game he sits again. Then the next game he does something. Then he benches him again. It's hard to find consistency in the player, within the whole team. So when it comes to like adjustments, especially during the season, like I see where he's going with it. Like everybody sees that, okay, we want Derrick Rose to start. Everybody sees that. Nobody wants to see Elfrid Payton playing. But if you start doing that and then the players find out that you're a whimsy coach, like you just go out on your whims and just do this and do that and have no consistency, then them themselves have no consistency. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a leader, you always want that leader to be stern in his ways and know pretty much what he wants from you. Because when you start, again, I get the word whimsy because I don't have another adjective to put there. But when you start doing things like that and taking players out and putting players in and doing this and that and this, it just messes up consistency within the team. And that's the reason why I think Thibodeau is the way he is. And I don't think he's changing because I don't think there's a reason for him to change. I mean, we're winning. We've won 23 games. We're having a great season. We're playing well. And, he's going to be able to do those adjustments when the playoff times comes. Yeah, to get to the playoffs, I'm pretty sure you'll see that happen.
Yeah, and also, people ask for development. Like, people got to make up their mind a little bit. People ask for development. This is the way that he goes about developing his young players, right? Tibbs has this old school mentality where, you got to you got to prove yourself through the ranks. You know what I'm saying? So some of your young guys may get less minutes, are going to have a shorter leash, going to get pulled out off of little mistakes. When Obi Toppin passed that ball out to Emmanuel quickly, if that ball would have got stolen, Obi Toppin was going to the bench right there. Guaranteed it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that that's his style to develop his players. That's the same thing he did with Jimmy Butler when Jimmy Butler was a young guy not getting much burn with the Chicago Bulls. The same exact thing. And when Jimmy Butler started to prove himself, he stayed on the floor because he trusts him. And so when he makes a mistake, he's like, okay, you know what? But I know he can get it back. I know what his mentality is. I know how he feels about that mistake that he just made. I'm leaving him out there on the floor because I know what he can do. That's the way that he's building. That's the way that he's building the team up. And that's the way that he deals with his young players. What do we want? Everybody thinks that development only happens on the basketball court, and that is not the truth. Development happens from discipline. Development happens from having consistency. Development happens from your players being afraid as shit of your coach. Like, God damn, this is going to take me out right now. I better not make the mistake. Guarantee you he is going to rip into Emmanuel quickly for getting that tech. Would he do it to Julius Randle? No, because Julius Randle's been around for a little while in the league, and he trusts Julius Randle a little bit more than Emmanuel quickly, but he's going to rip into Emmanuel quickly for getting that tech. Now, Emmanuel quickly, after he's coached Emmanuel quickly, after he's coached Emmanuel quickly for a little while, and he's been there for a few years, and he trusts him, and he knows everything, and he knows all of his tendencies, then he gives him that a little bit more leadway, a little bit more leadway, a little bit more leadway. That's the way. That's the old school way of players coming up through the ranks. That's what Tom Thibodeau has built. That's what he's doing with this team right here. You know what I mean? And that is a developmental style. I have no problems that he's gotten us to 24 wins this season.
Exactly.
I am not complaining about the man's rotations. I'm sorry. Whoever he decides to play is who he puts on the floor. He has gotten us to, if he puts Jared Harper out there on the floor, I'm going to say, okay, let's see what he's doing.
Well, I mean, Sim, right? Again, I'll say this, right? My favorite moment of the game today was when Tom Thibodeau took quickly out. I was happy he did it. You see me in the text in the group chat. I was happy because I was like, he needs to be benched. Because first of all, when he went up for the shot, he didn't try to shoot it. He went to go get the foul, which I'm tired of him doing sometimes. He tried to get the foul. He got stripped. He complained, didn't get back on defense, and got a tech. I was so happy when Thibs took him out because he's a rookie. He shouldn't be doing that. He has no excuse to do that. He hasn't earned anything yet to do that. So that was my favorite moment of the game. And yes, Sim, I love that Tom Thibodeau has got us to 24 wins. He's a guy in this team that's not that talented to 24 wins. I'm happy about that. If I was to tell you that we would be talking about us in the playoffs versus us being excited about when we find out when the lottery is, of course, I'm happy. I'm happy we didn't have an episode today talking about the lottery release schedule. I'm happy that we didn't have to talk about that.
Okay.
But also, there's still it's okay to question the man's rotation because his rotations are questionable.
To who? Hold up. To who?
Come on, Sil.
No, but to who though? Because every single Knick fan is gonna say someone's gonna say it's good, some gonna say it's questionable. Does Leon Rose say it's questionable? That's the bottom line, bro.
Does our record say it's questionable?
Yeah.
Can I jump in real quick? How are you gonna question Tom Thibodeau's rotation and then talk in favor of playing Obi Toppin? Like, are you serious right now?
I don't talk about that. I don't talk about that.
You didn't just say.
To start. You didn't just say he was playing well and you take him out the game.
Today he played well, so you keep him in. He had good energy and he was active on the floor. Yes, you do play him, but there's been plenty of games where I said don't play Obi Toppin.
And that's my point. That's my point. You ranted about Obi last game, ranted, and now you're gonna question Thibodeau's rotation in favor of playing Obi Toppin. Like, where's your credibility?
Bro, you can, bro. Okay, I get
I'm
that.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna question the rotation, make a better point.
But Tony, I get that.
Like Eddie C just said, or said earlier, like that was a great point as far as making an adjustment against Miami specifically. I believe you was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're playing Burks and Rose. Like that makes sense. But you're literally gonna question his rotation and then say, "Oh, Obi was playing well. He shouldn't have got pulled."
Okay, I get you trying to use Obi to win the argument, but it's not about just Obi, bro. It's even today, right? Payton played like order trash.
There you go.
I'm using an example. You're using an example. Payton played like trash. Why not put? You waited, bro. You waited until like 4 or 5 minutes left to put Derrick Rose back in the game when he was playing good. And the lead was, by the time D Rose got in the game, their lead was already almost 15 points, if I'm not mistaken. So again, right?
Hold up.
Rose is playing good?
Yes, Rose played good today.
Okay.
Did he not?
At that point when he got pulled? After he missed 2 consecutive layups at the rim?
That was a substitution, bro. He got up because of substitution. He didn't get up because he was playing bad.
Hold up. So Peyton played only 19 minutes today. Okay. What did he shoot from the floor? What was his percentage?
I don't even know, bro.
50%? How many turnovers? Hold up. How many turnovers? No, not here we go because it's the dumbest ass narrative. How many turnovers? Answer my question. How many turnovers? Just answer my question. How many? Zero.
Oh, that's one game. One
okay.
game he didn't have.
No. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear all of this junk. The Knicks. It was 13-12 in the first quarter. 13-12 in the first quarter. Peyton had 5 of those points. Substitutions were made. At the end of the first quarter, it was 21-16. Peyton went out with 5 minutes. We scored 4 points in 16 and we scored 4 points in 5 minutes. I'm not blaming. Hold up. No. Wait a minute.
Talk about the second quarter. Talk about the second quarter.
Will you let me finish? Will you let me finish? Right? This is what happens every single time. We scored 4 points in 5 minutes. We took a lead in the second quarter. When Peyton got back in, it was a 7-point lead. When we went to halftime, it was a 7-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad that Tom Thibodeau took him out the game. Tom Thibodeau makes the decision to do what he wants to do. Not mad at it at all.
So tell me this. So he's never made a questionable rotation.
Every coach in the world has. Every coach in the world has, including myself, including Tom Thibodeau, including Phil Jackson. Every coach in the world has. Overall, he's done a decent job with the rotations. Clearly, he's pushed a lot of the right buttons.
At the beginning of the year, everybody was talking about Tom Thibodeau only plays 8 players. He runs his players to the ground. We've been seeing a 10-man rotation for the whole year. So, I mean, the coach is going to see what he needs to do. And just because the players, the people in the chats or the fanatics don't think it's okay. I mean, come on, these guys get paid a lot of money to make those decisions, man. It's very hard for us to come and just say, oh, he should have did this. He should have done that. Every coach makes questionable calls, just like Sim said. He's made it. Eric Spoelstra's made it. Greg Popovich has made it. I mean, it's part of the game, you know?
That's the way it goes. Third quarter, right? The tide switches. It's a 5-point lead when substitutions come in, but it had been a 12-point swing. 5-point lead when subs come in, 11-point lead at the end of the third quarter. No more subs. Well, some other subs come in. Peyton don't come in. The lead goes from 12 to 15. It wasn't just one player.
Did I
and
say
that whole time it goes from 5. Hold up. That whole time it goes from 5 to 15. Derrick Rose was in the game. I'm not blaming Derrick Rose. I'm just saying he was in the game. So, I mean, we can't just point there. Because you know why?
Can I?
Let me get. You know why we can't? Julius Randle was 41% from the field, 33% from 3, 62.5% from the free throw line. Nerlens Noel had 8 points in 8 points and 11 rebounds. Great game for him. But Reggie Bullock had 3 points and 3 rebounds. RJ Barrett had 8 points, 4 rebounds, shot 33% from the field, 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. Taj Gibson had 5 points and 4 rebounds. I'll take that from him. Derrick Rose, 16 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. I'll take that too. Alec Burks, he's been giving us 20 a game. He had 6 points and 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Let's talk about those guys. The guys that we need to score. Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Alec Burks.
And Randall.
And Randall.
Oh, and over Peyton, right?
No. Peyton gives us what he gives us.
He gives us what he gives us.
The guys that didn't show up was
no. I'm not
and he shot 50%.
The guys who didn't produce tonight was RJ, was Burks, was Randall.
Point guard. He's a starting point guard. Don't give you no assists. Don't set up the team, nothing. So stop telling me, oh, it's just Bullock.
Hold up. He had the same amount of assists as Derrick Rose tonight. The same amount of assists as Derrick Rose tonight. Derrick Rose played more minutes.
The first game, Sam. The first game, okay.
What are you talking about?
Yo, you're not making.
Sometimes Derrick Rose gets them, sometimes he
averaging
don't.
20 the past 5 games. Burke's been averaging 20 the past 5 games. Randall's been averaging, 23 all season. Those guys didn't produce their normal numbers. We lost. That's why. You cannot blame it on Peyton. You cannot blame it on the rotation. It's the guys that normally didn't produce tonight.
The problem is, I think I'm trying to blame Peyton for everything. That's not the case, bro.
You can't blame the rotation either.
I'm putting Peyton with the blame too. RJ had a bad game. Randall had a bad game. Bullock had a bad game. Peyton had a bad game too, bro. That's the thing. Y'all always try to exclude this dude when he don't do
nobody's
nothing.
trying to exclude it. It's the entire
barely
team.
played,
The
though.
thing is,
He played
he is
19
always
minutes.
the name that comes out of your mouth. He is the first name that comes out of your mouth. Oh, we should have took him out here. We should have every single game. It's the most ridiculous thing for every. It's the most ridiculous thing.
I'm sorry that my starting point guard and the NBA team can't do something. I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry that my point guard can't pass the ball, can't set up a team, can't score.
My point is, he
is
is there. He is there. If you have a problem, stop talking to me about it. Call Tom Thibodeau. He's the one who's starting them. Call Leon Rose. Send them an email. Do that. Stop talking to me about it because it's dumb. He's out there. He's playing. Tom Thibodeau's putting him on the floor, not me. Talk to Tom Thibodeau about that junk. Every day. And I'm talking to all the Knicks fans, all of y'all out there. Every single day, no matter what happens, y'all say the same thing. I get tired of seeing the same things in the chat. It was the same exact way with Randall last year. I was like, this is just dumb. It's just ridiculous. It's the same thing when I look all over Twitter. Every single game, no matter what. And so we play well. We don't play well. He plays well. He don't play well. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just support what Tom Thibodeau is trying to build with these guys. That's all I'm saying. Just support what he's trying to build. You know, we mad at the rotations is not terrible. Fizz had terrible rotations because he had no idea what he wanted to do.
And I love that comment. Because Tibbs knows exactly what he wants to do. Let's rock with it. We've seen where he's got us so far. So every loss is going to be a rotation thing. We lost the game. Our main guys didn't produce today. They underperformed today. It's going to be hard to win when our main guys underperform. Point blank.
And it's the same team, right? It's basically the same team Fizdale had. Maybe minus Derrick Rose and Nerlens Noel. Alec Burks, I guess. But
I mean, it's a better roster. I ain't gonna do that. The roster's better.
I mean, it's slightly upgraded to what David Fizdale had, but everybody knows David Fizdale was a horrible coach. He couldn't head coach for a lick. So I mean,
the same reason that we were talking about, that he would mix and match every other game. He was changing the starting lineup. We've had the starting lineup every single game, if not for injuries. If the starter was injured, that was the only way that we would have the same starting lineup. But besides that, we would have every single game that we've played this year has been the same starters. And Thibodeau is stuck to that. Besides what everybody else, all these geniuses think in the world. He's stuck to that, and we're at 23 wins right now.
24, actually. 24 wins.
What more do we want?
Yeah. Caller, you're live. What's popping?
What's up, Knicks family? How y'all doing out there?
Savvy, what's going on, brother?
Chilling, man. I was enjoying this game with a couple of friends, Heat fan friends. As you can imagine, it was very traumatic. That was an ugly game, man.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. It was obviously a painful game, but I'm trying to keep in people's minds, man. Small goals. Let's keep focusing on these small goals. Small goals, absolutely. Small goals. Right? The next goal, what's our next goal? To get to our next goal is to what?
Over,
get 3 games over 500.
4-game win streak.
Get a 4-game win streak. Small goals.
Yes, absolutely. And I agree with that. Let me just point something out. Regardless of what the score was at any given time, we were losing every single matchup. Every key matchup that you can have in a game that will make a difference, every difference-making position, we lost that matchup. Bam Adebayo was okay, Tyler Hero was cooking. Duncan Robinson pulled some crazy triple pivot. I haven't seen that many pivot foots in one possession in a long time. and then he just drained the three in his face. Like there was no way that they didn't outclass us tonight. And of course, we don't have Mitch, we don't have a rebounder. But there's clearly a gap. And they didn't have Oladipo. And they didn't have Kelly Olynyk, who went a long way to cooking us like the past 2 games we played them. So I feel like on one hand we need to heal up, but I don't know how much time we're going to get this guy to fix his contused leg, considering the fact that like there's nobody to sit him down for 10 minutes again. I think as soon as Mitch went down again, it couldn't be the worst time. Because if it had happened, I mean, you don't want it to happen, period. But if it happened before things were still final with the trade deadline, I can't help but think maybe they would have been a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, Obi gave us a good 12 minutes tonight.
He did.
He gave us a good 12 minutes tonight, especially in that first half. He was able to give Randall a nice little break in that first half. Obviously, the second half, the lead just started getting out of hand, so he couldn't keep Randall on the bench for that much longer. But Obi, he did some of the little things. It wasn't even just his, layup at the basket or, the attempted dunk. He grabbed 4 rebounds tonight.
And you want some good news? I got some good news for you. The footwork is getting better.
I hope so.
The footwork is improving. He's making smarter decisions about where he wants to be at certain moments during a drive on defense, and I like that kind of cerebral improvement. Sorry, it's kind of hard to talk because I'm hearing myself after everything I say. So yeah. I'll wrap this up.
All right.
But let's not forget that this is the Eastern Conference champion, and we have more games to go. We can get our confidence up on these scrubby teams, and then we can go back at the Titans pretty soon. So y'all have a good night.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. We'll see, man. Maybe this is a starting point for Obi, to really get a little bit more comfortable and, be able to provide. Because if he can give us a couple of electric moments throughout a game, couple of electric moments, it really can help to inject energy in the team. You know what I'm saying? Tonight he had 3 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist tonight on that kick out to Emmanuel quickly. He was only 1 for 4 from the field, but that's okay. You know what I mean? He showed a little bit more fervor tonight. I mean, you really like that play that he did. That play that he made, the first bucket that he did on Andre Iguodala. I really like that play because the movement, it wasn't a straight. It wasn't like, the way he's been thinking lately is just one way. You know what I'm saying? He actually, how do I want to say this? He actually thought of another way to do a certain move than what he's been thinking about, which was, maybe fake to the outside and cut in. So that just tells me that he was thinking a little bit more of the game instead of just going off his instincts. And that's going to help him a lot because we know instinctually Obi Toppin is very good. Like he's very athletic. So his instincts is gonna take him a long way. But once he starts thinking the game and he brings his instincts into it, it's going to be a completely different player. And today was one of the few days that I did like what Obi Toppin did. And I hope he does build on this because, that move showed me a lot. And if he keeps on doing those sorts of moves, those counters, if he can counter on a post up, it'll come along. His shot today, he looked like he missed a 3-pointer, but it's been better than what he's been doing because he shoots a lot of air balls. And I was happy with Obi today, man. I hope he builds on this, and I hope he has a good game against Minnesota in the next couple of days. I hope so. Little bit worried about the Minnesota game a little bit because they did play Brooklyn tough tonight. They've been playing better basketball, so we definitely can't go over there thinking we're just going to run through these guys. Tonight, Jimmy Butler had 27, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Bam Adebayo had 20 points, 17 rebounds, 4 assists. Duncan Robinson had 14 points. Tyler Hero had 18 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. They got a lot of contributions from a lot of guys tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all for being here. I do want to come around and get some last words. I will do a shoot around tomorrow. Get some last words for you. Then I'm going to head up out of here, man. Eddie, you want to hit us with some last words?
Yeah, man. I am worried about Minnie. I am, man. This kid, Anthony Edwards, looks like he's coming along. He's been playing a lot better. You know, the game is slowing down a little bit for him. And they always, you know, this team has those usual suspects. You know, they got Cat. They have another player there that slips my mind right now. But, you know, it's not going to be a walk in the park, man. And, you know, I just hope that we come out with the same intensity that Miami came out for us today. Right. And hoping that, you know, we pull out this win because we're going to need it, man. We're going to need this win. Yeah. Right now, Minnesota, they've lost 2 in a row. They're 3-7 in the last 10. They're 11-36 on the season. The worst team in the NBA. We can't come out and play around with these dudes, though. You know what I mean? Tony?
You know, as usual, man, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel. Sim, keep doing your thing. Yo, Blackest Time.
Big Bubba?
Good show. I love arguing with Tony, even though I'm right most of the time, but it's okay. Yeah, man. Again, you know, we lost. We got struck by the Heat. It pisses me off because I hate the Heat. But, you know, this is a good learning experience for the team. We'll bounce back. Hopefully, you know, it's going to be a tough game against the Timberwolves. You know, Anthony, like Eddie say, Anthony Edwards is coming along. He's looking like a number 1 pick right now. And then, you know, of course, Karl-Anthony Towns. We played him tough the last time, you know, towards the end because we gave it that big lead. But we just got to play. Play hard, man. And it's going to be a battle. Every I'm going to say it the rest of the season. Every game is a battle. Every game is a playoff series for us because, you know, we just don't know. Tight race. We're 5th seed right now, so if we want to stay in that top 6 so we don't have to play in the play-in, man, we gotta battle every night. We gotta go hard. So let's do it, man. We can do it.
All right, man. We will see how we come out. When do we play them? It's not tomorrow, right?
Wednesday.
We play them on Wednesday. We'll see how we come out on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Ring that notification bell. Hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. Catch you tomorrow on the shoot around. Be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you all. And as usual, please make sure to spread love to everybody around you. I ain't spread no love to Big Bubba, but you already know how that go. We out.